just another nigga known with the strap, man. Don't cap or your ass going cap, man. You never mix business with new friends. Get booked, then cooked by the crack, man. You gon' make a nigga slide with my jacks, man. With a pump that'll leave a nigga flat dead. Put that bitch to his shit and shoot again. Face shots, make a op do a back bend.
We want to turn out to breaking news that we're following. A rideshare driver shot and then drives himself to the hospital. This all happened last night around 10:30 in North Lawndale. The driver was dropping off a passenger near 13th and Central Park Avenue. Chicago police say the 42-year-old was hit in the leg. You can see a bullet hole in the driver's side door of that car. Police say so far there are no arrests and the driver is expected to make a full recovery.
I spoke to him on the phone soon after he was released from the hospital. He did not want to go on camera out of fear for his own safety, but told me he has been driving for years and will think twice about getting back behind the wheel. The 42-year-old Uber driver told me he was dropping off passengers around 10:30 when he was shot in the leg here at 13th and South Central Park. You can see a bullet hole in the driver's side door. He says it wasn't his passenger who shot him. He believes it was a bullet shot from outside of the car.
Caller says her Uber driver is shot. He got shot in his left leg and he's driving to Mount Sinai.
Doctors told him the bullet needed to stay in his leg for now. The shooting comes just 2 months after another Uber driver was shot during a ride on the city's west side. Uber driver Jason Cho and his passenger were killed in East Garfield Park when an SUV pulled up alongside them and someone inside opened fire. The driver in last night's shooting tells me he's been driving for 6 years and has never had a situation like this happen, but he is concerned about getting back on the app.
Violence against drivers is happening way too often.
Attorney Bryant Greening, who specializes in rideshare cases, tells me these cases are likely underreported because drivers fear coming forward or fear being deactivated if they cancel too many rides.
Ultimately, it comes down to pairing safe drivers with safe passengers. And Uber and Lyft and the rideshare companies are the ones who are best armed with the information about who is safe, who has a reputation for safety, who has acted badly on the app before. So the companies need to do everything they can to share that information with all parties so that people can make informed decisions about which rides they want to accept and which rides might just be too risky.
Uber tells us they offer a range of safety features to protect drivers. We'll take a closer look at some of those coming up at 6. As for last night's shooting, police did not have an update on any suspects in that case, telling us only that Area 4 detectives are investigating. I spoke to the Uber driver soon after he was released from Mount Sinai Hospital this morning. He did not want to go on camera out of fear for his safety, but he says that after many years of driving, he said he will think twice about getting behind the wheel again. The 42-year-old Uber driver told me he was dropping off passengers around 10:30 when he was shot in the leg here at 13th and South Central Park. You can see a bullet hole in the driver's side door. He says it wasn't his passenger who shot him. He believes it was a bullet shot from outside of the car.
Caller says her Uber driver is shot. He got shot in his left leg and he's driving to Mount Sinai.
Doctors told him the bullet needed to stay in his leg for now. The shooting comes just 2 months after another Uber driver was shot during a ride on the city's west side. Uber driver Jason Cho and his passenger were killed in East Garfield Park when an SUV pulled up alongside them and someone inside opened fire.
Violence against drivers is happening way too often.
Attorney Bryant Greening, who specializes in rideshare cases, tells me the issue is probably bigger than it seems.
They're often actually underreported. When drivers get injured on the roadway, a lot of times they're scared to go to the companies. They're scared to contact the news.
He says many drivers he's spoken to worry about being penalized if they cancel too many rides based on pickup or drop-off location. The driver in last night's shooting tells me he's been driving for 6 years and has never been in a situation like this, but he is concerned about getting back on the app. The Illinois Drivers Alliance told us in part, these tragic incidents underscore the need for rideshare companies to work with drivers to address the risks they face on the job. Uber says they don't tolerate violence of any kind on the platform. They say safety tools for drivers include GPS tracking, rider verification measures, trip sharing, in-app emergency assistance, and access to safety support.
Ultimately, it comes down to pairing safe drivers with safe passengers. And Uber and Lyft and the rideshare companies are the ones who are best armed with the information about who is safe. So the companies need to do everything they can to share that information with all parties so that people can make informed decisions about which rides they want to accept and which rides might just be too risky.
An Uber spokesperson told us they are horrified by this senseless violence, saying in a statement, "Our thoughts are with the driver and we've reached out to check in as they recover." At last check, there was no word on any suspects in last night's shooting, and Area 4 detectives are investigating. Reporting at Mount Sinai Hospital, Megan DeMar, CBS News Chicago investigators.
Tonight on the city's west side, a rideshare driver was shot while dropping off passengers in North Lawndale. Police say the 42-year-old man was sitting in his car near 13th and South Central Park when he was shot, and you can see the bullet holes in the driver's side door. He was hit in the leg, drove himself to a nearby hospital, and is expected to be okay, thankfully. No one right now is in custody.
A rideshare driver was shot while dropping off passengers overnight. It happened in the 1300 block of South Central Park in North Lawndale around midnight. The driver was shot in the leg and drove himself to the hospital. He's in good condition. No arrests have been made.
And charges are pending against a suspected robber after a shooting in the Dunning neighborhood. Chicago police say the suspect walked up to a 24-year-old man near Belmont and Sayre. He demanded the victim's property, then shot him in the stomach. He's now in critical condition, and police found the suspect a short time later.
And breaking tonight, a man was just rushed to the hospital after being shot during a robbery on the city's northwest side. This is video just in from the scene near Belmont and Sayre. Police telling us the 24-year-old victim was approached by another man who apparently demanded his property and then shot him in the abdomen. That offender ran off with stolen items but was quickly taken into custody. The victim now being treated for critical injuries.
Well, Chicago police are searching for the gunman who shot up a car in Westridge, wounding a woman who was sitting inside. It happened around 5:30 this morning near Glen Lake Avenue in Rockwell. You can see there are bullet holes in the side of SUV here. A man and woman were sitting inside when someone started firing. The woman was shot in the leg but is expected to be okay. Witnesses believe it was a carjacking attempt.
Disturbing new details tonight about a deadly shooting near Grant Park. Prosecutors revealed in court today the crime was completely random. 19-year-old Iliel Argudo Tenorio is charged with first-degree murder. Prosecutors say he was drinking with friends on Jackson Drive the night of June 15th. At some point, 27-year-old Malik Jones rode by the group on a divvy bike. Police say Tenorio pulled out a gun and, without provocation, fired a single shot, killing Jones. Police tracked Tenorio to his home in Oak Park using license plate cameras. He's behind bars until his trial.
I got in touch with the uncle of 27-year-old Malik Jones. He tells me his nephew was a loving, giving young man and a top athlete. Now he and the rest of the family are wondering why this had to happen to him.
Jones's family says Malik was a brother, son, and played soccer at Morton College in Cicero. Today, 18-year-old Iliel Argudo Tenorio from Oak Park appeared in court after he was charged with Jones's murder. Police say Jones was riding a bike on the sidewalk on Jackson Drive between Columbus and DuSable Lakeshore Drive a little after midnight last Tuesday. The Cook County State's attorney says Argudo Tenorio was in a Mazda that was part of a 6-car caravan. The group came to Grant Park after a birthday party and were hanging out on the sidewalk drinking. Prosecutors say police pod cameras showed Jones riding his bike toward the group. Argudo Tenorio grabs a gun from the car and points it at Jones. They say Jones tries to get away, but Argudo Tenorio walks toward him and shoots him in the right thigh. The group gets in their cars and leaves while Jones ends up dying. Prosecutors say a license plate reader tracked the car to Irving Park. They say Argudo Tenorio was not inside, but they arrested him outside his Oak Park home later that day. The state's attorney says witnesses recount hearing Argudo Tenorio say he messed up when he got back in the car.
It is still unclear why Argudo Tenorio went after Jones. He is ordered to be detained until trial.
A 16-year-old girl is recovering tonight after she was shot in the Fuller Park neighborhood. CBS Skywatch was over the scene this afternoon at 51st and Wentworth near the Dan Ryan. Chicago police say the victim got into a fight with the 24-year-old woman who then pulled out a gun and shot the teen. Charges are pending against that woman tonight.
Evelyn, thank you. And this is breaking right now. A 15-year-old boy has now been charged in the deadly shooting of 2 teenagers. The victims, 16-year-old Devaje Christopher and 17-year-old Tamarion West, were shot to death last October near 81st and Marshfield. A man was also hurt in that shooting. The 15-year-old is the third person charged in their murders.
But first, breaking news on the Northwest Side. 2 people shot near Hiawatha Park. You can see crime tape up at Addison and Forest Preserve Avenue. This is in the Dunning neighborhood. No word yet on what conditions the victims are in. And right now, no one is in custody.
Erica, as detectives here at the 16th District investigate this double murder, neighbors in that Dunning community left in disbelief by this horrific crime and what is considered a busy area. Children play in Hiawatha Park. Right across the street, Chicago police tried to find clues where 2 people were gunned down, shot multiple times, and killed.
I heard an argument going on, and all of a sudden, pop, 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 pop.
It woke me up from my bed, and it freaked me out.
I thought it was fireworks. Now I see that it wasn't fireworks.
Neighbors coming to terms that a teenager and 20-year-old were killed right in their quiet community on the far northwest side in Dunning.
I've been here for 7 years. I've never experienced this type of violence in here.
Yet today, the site of countless bullet markings, the large CPD presence, and the fact 2 people were gunned down behind one building brings the violence to their front door. We're told Ring doorbell video captured the victims getting shot.
The lady across the street from that house showed me the video of the 2 young kids that passed away with the gunshots.
Right, so there's actually video of
Yes,
them.
and it's horrifying. And it's scary because my kids are outside. You know, they're 12 and 10.
We spotted officers going down an alley checking garbage cans. It's the direction the shooters ran.
All right, we got one caller says 2 people are on the ground at Forest Preserve and Osage. He says he's seen the shooter. They had hoodies on. 2 of them he did not see, so 3 total. These are where the 3 guys ran.
As the gunmen remain on the run, the community hopes to stay together.
Right now, my prayers are for the family of those young men. Second of all, my prayers is for my neighborhood that, I don't know, we could get together as a neighborhood and protect our civilians and that we can surpass this and move on.
And tonight, Chicago police have not released a motive or said if the 2 victims were targeted or not. Reporting live outside the 16th District, Jermont Terry, CBS News Chicago. Erica?
Neighbors describe hearing what sounded like a shootout in broad daylight between people who were arguing outside. That gunfire left 2 men found on the ground here with multiple gunshot wounds.
It was like the Wild Wild West. They shot each other.
Outside the safe walls of Andy Jekyll's home was a barrage of deadly gunfire.
They were shouting at one another. There was an argument going on. We heard something going off. Then all of a sudden, pop, 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 pop. I thought it was fireworks.
Crime tape surrounded several apartment buildings for hours near Forest Preserve Drive in Addison in the city's Dunning neighborhood. That's where Chicago police say around 3:30 Thursday afternoon, they found 2 men shot multiple times each behind a home on West Cahill Terrace. One of them was a 20-year-old who also had a gunshot wound to the head. Both were taken to Lutheran General Hospital, initially with critical injuries, where they died.
Over an argument or whatever. They can't come back. They're gone. You know what I mean? Life is so precious and it's sad, to be honest with you. It's terrible.
Police haven't given a motive behind the shooting or confirmed if any guns were found here on scene. They also say they have no information to share on a possible suspect.
Local rapper Mellow Bucks is in custody tonight after being charged with several crimes. Police arrested the rapper, whose real name is Melanie Doyle, last week. This after stopping her for having a tinted windshield. Officers say they spotted marijuana in her purse, an open bottle of alcohol in the car, and a weapon under the seat. Prosecutors say she did not have a valid FOID card, and she will be back in court next month. Nearly a year ago, 4 people were killed and 14 others were wounded. This at her album release party in River North. These 2 cases, though, are not connected.
A Chicago rapper faces gun and resisting arrest charges. According to the Tribune, 25-year-old Melanie Doyle, known as Mellow Bucks, was arrested last week. Police pulled her over for a traffic violation and say they found a handgun under the seat, marijuana in her open purse, and an open bottle of vodka. Officers say she did not have a valid FOID card for the weapon. Last year, a mass shooting during her album release party left 4 people dead and several others wounded.
A West Suburban man facing a felony charge after police say he mistakenly shot a family member inside a home. It happened just after 4 this morning in Glendale Heights. Investigators say 21-year-old Fernando Cardoso was handling a pistol in his bedroom when it fired, sending a bullet through a wall. Cardoso is charged with reckless discharge of a firearm. His family member was treated and released from the hospital.
This Friday will be 1 year since Marjay Dotson and Jeremy Herod Jr. were shot in Douglas Park. Dotson died. At the time, Herod's parents were told to expect the worst, but Herod survived, and this Friday, he will be celebrating his 16th birthday. This is the routine for the Herod family. Everyone comes to Jeremy Jr.'s physical therapy appointments 3 days a week at the Shirley Ryan Ability Lab. His little brothers have activities, while Jeremy Jr. practices ways to move his mouth and neck to operate a wheelchair. A year after being shot, the teen remains on a ventilator and is paralyzed.
It's okay, but we're getting it figured out.
It's definitely proud moments, like to see how strong he is and never like miserable, like never really down, like laugh every day. So it's like, it's bittersweet, and at the same time, like, of course, it's tragic.
Last June 26th, Jeremy was shot at Douglas Park Pool. Surveillance video shows a then lifeguard opening fire. 15-year-old Marjay Dotson was killed. This June 26th, Jeremy Jr. will celebrate his 16th birthday.
We celebrating his life because we know a year ago when we got the news, you know what that was and what they were saying. So it's like, yeah, we kind of proven what the doctor said wrong and stuff like that. We still here, still fighting.
As for Jeremy Jr., he says he won't go back to Douglas Park Pool, and he hopes there are better people working at the pool this summer. The 15-year-old says he finds strength in his faith.
Just believe in God.
He says he also asks God to protect others.
For nothing to happen like this to anybody else.
Charles Lito was charged in the shootings. The Chicago Park District says it's making changes after an internal investigation. And this Friday, we're told the focus will be on Jeremy Jr. with his family and friends as he celebrates his 16th birthday, a young man who is making the most of what he can.
Police are investigating a shooting that killed a man on Chicago's west side this afternoon. Investigators say he was getting out of a vehicle in the 500 block of South Claremont when another car drove up and multiple people inside opened fire. The Cook County Medical Examiner now identifying that victim as Orlando Tobias.
Friday would have been Marcus Chapman Jr.'s 15th birthday, but instead of planning a birthday party, his mother is now getting ready to bury him. While police continue to search for his killer, she says they may already have a lead on who they are looking for. Football was Marcus Chapman's passion. The 14-year-old started playing when he was just 5 years old, spending a big part of his short life playing in Country Club Hills with the Midwest Hawks, where his stepfather is one of the coaches.
Football gave him a sense of belonging, a sense of, yeah, these my friends and we all doing something that we love.
One of 5 brothers, Marcus was killed in Auburn Gresham last Thursday, shot and killed while walking out of an apartment building near 80th and Carpenter. Police say they're still investigating. His mother, Amani Hicks, tells us they have surveillance video of the 14-year-old being shot twice in the back.
He never seen it coming. He thinks that he's just walking with his group of friends.
Hicks says her son had recently fallen in with the wrong crowd, but despite her misgivings, she was trying to give him space to make his own decisions.
Normally, I'm on his back. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. But he had just finished his freshman year of school. He had A's and B's. Yes, it's almost your birthday. Go ahead, son. Go spend the night at your friend's house. It's fine.
She's now speaking out to serve as a warning to other parents.
You're not your kid's friend. Trust yourself. Trust that you're making the right decisions for them, whether if they're mad or not or upset that they can't do certain things. So what?
In the end, the way he died is not how she wants Marcus to be remembered.
My son was important. He has a loving family. He's a sweetheart, and he deserves for me to be his voice.
Marcus will be laid to rest on Monday, but before that, his mother tells us that she will celebrate his birthday one more time with a balloon release surrounded by his football family.
Breaking news from Chicago's west side. At least one person has been shot. This is at Chicago and Homan. The fire department tells us that a victim was taken to the hospital in serious to critical condition. It appears that police have been questioning people at the scene. We will continue to follow this situation. We'll bring you an update as soon as we get more information.
Witnesses say this all unfolded from what seemed to be a road rage incident between a group of people. Police tell us a physical fight broke out before shots were fired, leaving a woman hit multiple times and taken here to Mount Sinai Hospital, where she died.
I didn't assume it was shots until I got maybe like real close, like right here, and I'm seeing someone not moving, laying in the street.
A maze of crime tape and at least 3 evidence markers paint a violent picture that unfolded at Chicago and Homan Avenues in the city's Humboldt Park neighborhood.
Just screaming, crying, and hugging a dead body.
Detectives focusing their investigation on these 2 vehicles stopped in the middle of the street.
I heard people arguing, so when I turned around, I seen 2 girls, and they were just about to get physical. And then the little girl, one girl was screaming, and another guy, and then the guy got in. Then I heard another lady's voice. Next thing you know, it's pa 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 pa.
Police say it happened just after 3:30 Friday afternoon when a fight broke out in traffic. That's when investigators tell us a 27-year-old woman pulled out a gun and shot a 36-year-old woman multiple times in the chest. She later died at the hospital.
But right there in the middle of the street, in the middle of the day, that is very strange.
We need to change this, man. You know, this is too bad.
Police say the alleged shooter was taken into custody on scene, where a gun was also recovered. Charges are pending.
That's right. The FBI says Gary Llewellyn, also known as Bird, is now in custody. He was arrested yesterday in the Chicagoland area. The FBI says this is a major win for them, but there is still a lot of work to do. There are still 5 others on that most wanted list that are still out there on the run. Investigators say Llewellyn was one of FBI Chicago's most wanted and one of the violent offenders highlighted in Operation Summer Heat, which is the Bureau's crime crackdown focused on taking some of the city's most dangerous suspects off the streets. The initiative launched last year and has now returned as Operation Summer Heat 2.0, which began June 1st and runs through the summer. FBI says Llewellyn was part of violent armed robbery and carjacking crews that operated across the Chicagoland area and put public safety at risk.
The individual we arrested yesterday was a member of an armed robbery crew that was extremely violent in nature, brazen, and operated with a frequency that jeopardized the public safety of the citizens of the Chicagoland area. We obviously deal with the most violent offenders on a day-to-day basis, but this individual and that crew was particularly brazen and had a blatant disregard for human life and safety, and that is why they made our list.
The FBI is now asking the public to take a good look at that most wanted list, and if anyone out there recognizes anyone on that list, make sure you call the FBI right away. That number there on your screen, 1-800-CALL-FBI, and we'll of course have all of these details on foxchicago.com. We're live here in Studio 32. Leslie Marino, Fox Chicago.